Good afternoon, Stockholm. I am so much excited.
Welcome to this magic island.
All right, family. Greetings, everyone. How's everyone doing? Sorry about the delay, family, but we had a minor technical issue, family. So thank y'all for tuning in. Now, I'm going to try to stay calm because I'm super excited today because we got a very special guest, a brother that's very dear to me, my brother, my mentor. I mean, we're brothers in faith, we're brothers in business, we're brothers on a whole lot of levels, right? So I'm excited. So I'm going to keep my cool, but I'm going to interview this brother. And guess what, fam? He don't know what I'm about to ask him. So I got the win, right? So I got the win. I got the upper hand because when I interview people the way I want to be interviewed. I don't need to be prompt. Just ask me the question, right? So I don't prompt nobody, but I haven't prompted my brother, but he's standing by, but we want to get this show started, right? So thank y'all for tuning in, family. Another powerful episode of the Future Money Show. Make sure you subscribe to all our platforms, Forward Money Network, YouTube channel, New Millennium Bankers. Follow us on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Follow us everywhere. And you're going to also get a chance to follow the brother that called himself, Wouldn't You Like to Know It? All right. So, family, I'm excited. So, family, thank y'all for tuning in. And I'm going to go ahead and hit y'all with it early. We got my mentor, right? Kevin 2X, Global Ambassador, team builder. I'm talking about network marketer, professional. I'm talking about that brother. You put him in anything. Tell him, say, you start a business selling sand. That brother gonna blow up and get rich off of it, right? It don't matter what it is. You can sell rocks. That brother gonna know. He gonna know how to build a team, tap root, and do all of that, right? But next week, we got his mentor coming on the line, Crown Ambassador, Mr. Michael L. Diaco, who is watching right now. He's gonna be our guest next week. We're going to interview him. So you want to tune in because we rolling these out 4 straight consecutive. So, all right. So, family, let's get Forward Money. Let's get this Future Money Show started properly, right? We just go in this the Future Money. So we got to talk about money. So we always started off talking about money. Let's talk about gold. Gold spot prices at $1,960.55. That's where it closed at yesterday. This is the spot price of gold. But if you was to actually go and purchase some or exchange dollars for it, you probably would be paying about $2,100. You probably would be paying about $2,100 because anybody selling it, they're going to always put that premium on it. All right. But that's the spot price of gold. This is insurance. You need it. Everybody's accepting it. No government, nobody on the planet will not accept gold for a medium of exchange. Only reason, the only problem with it is you can't really move around with physical gold like that, right? So we need a system that's going to make it digital, right? So let's go to the digital era because the digital era is not to come. Family, it is here. So cryptocurrency, what is cryptocurrency doing? Man, we got a lot of stuff going on. You got the SEC suing Coinbase, the SEC suing Binance, Coinbase suing the SEC, Binance suing the SEC. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. So the market is down 4%, but cryptocurrency is still up over $1 trillion. It hasn't fell below 1 trillion. Bitcoin has dropped below 26,000, but it's still trading at a strong $25,804.63. But Bitcoin is down 4.5% the last 7 days. Ethereum has dropped below 1,800. It's trading at $1,747.51. It's down 7.5% the last 7 days. So all of this stuff going on, crypto is taking a hit, but don't worry, it's going to bounce back. BNB, one of the most known, most controversy going on with this coin right now, it has fell to $237, It's down 22%, 22.5% in the last 7 days. Don't worry. Now, if you worried about that, just come be a GS Partners. We get paid and all that stuff, so we ain't even care. We ain't even had no conversation about, hey, did you see Bitcoin down? Did you see Ethereum down? Did you see Binance down? We ain't even had no conversation like that, fam. I'm trying to tell you. All right. So the G999 coin is up 0.14% right now. We're up 2.5% against Bitcoin. We're up 5% against Ethereum if you trade this. Now, that's what that say. What does our market cap say? What does our market cap say? Well, our market cap say we're down by 0.07. All right, not even a whole percent. So that's where we at right now. So let's get started, family. I just wanted to run through that real quick because I didn't want to belay the moment. So let me bring on my brother, my friend, and I don't call no anybody my friend. Believe that, right? My brother, my friend. Me and this brother met way back in 2019. It seemed like a long time ago, but it ain't even that long ago. Way back in 2019, we officially met in Las Vegas, Nevada. We was at an event. This brother here is a professional network marketer. This man is a professional business brand builder. He knows the ins and outs. He's a crypto professional. He knows all about that stuff. And he's been dealing in business for over 20 plus years. So he knows all about it. So we're going to bring him to the line, and I'm finna grill him tonight. So y'all going to get to see a side of the brother that y'all might ain't seen, right? So let's bring him. My brother, the founder and CEO of the amazing team called Team Freedom, finding real entrepreneurs that want to develop into a millionaire mindset. And we might even ask them, what does that really mean? All right. So let's bring him on the line, Kevin 2X. There you go. What's going on, my brother?
Peace and blessings. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Oh. What happened to George?
My bad. That's a cold-blooded mess up. Yes, thank you, man. I'm trying to put our names up here. That's all. I clicked the wrong thing.
No worries.
Apologize for that, family. So, man, I want to thank you for coming, brother. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your super busy schedule. I know you're busy, but we networkers, though. We know what that type of business look like, right? So we know how that works. And, man, just glad that you were here again. It's been a while since you've been on the Future Money Show. All right, it's been a couple of years, but now you're back. So glad to have you back there, brother, man. How you feeling today, man, before we get into this?
Man, I feel absolutely outstanding, brother. Thank you for asking. It is my complete honor to be able to be back here on the show again, to get a chance to dialogue with you and chop it up. And I might say, brother, I am a little nervous about these questions that you're about to ask. But I'm going to tell you, it's going to be completely raw. It's going to be completely organic. And your listening and your viewing audience are going to be in for a treat. I'm sure that it's going to come out fire. So let's get it popping.
Man, let's get it popping, man. So, man, let's get us started, man, because people don't know, man. How long have you been running businesses?
So I've been running businesses now, businesses that I own and operate for now about the last 22 plus years, actually. I started off with my own transportation and trucking company back around 1998, 99. And that business was super successful. Me and one of my good friends, Brother Keith 9X, we were partners in that business. And, we rocked that thing out for maybe about 15 years. I evolved that to exploring into real estate, some commercial as well as residential. Then I opened a construction company where I had a nice little chunk of a contract from the DC government here. And then I really realized that a lot of that took up a lot more time than I wanted to invest in it. And so then I kind of blind or ghosted it, silent partnership, a franchise of a Rita's Italian ice store in Washington, D.C. as well. And, I've been dibbling and dabbling in multiple businesses, wearing multiple hats for quite some time, beloved.
Man, yes, sir. That's amazing, man. That's good to know for people can know that you are a real entrepreneur. You are that. So you can't look for that if you're not that. When is the last time that you actually punched the clock, that you actually did work for somebody? How long ago that been?
Please. That's probably been about that same amount of time. I don't think I've ever worked for anybody and punched nobody's clock. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always been an independent contractor. Um, I can't think of, it's been so long, I can't even remember if I ever did punch somebody's clock, to be honest with you, bro.
Mm. What is the first time that you got into? Because I asked Crypto Steve a similar question to this. But when is the first time? So you've been a traditional business owner. When is the first time did you actually get into network marketing?
So my first experience in network marketing was right around 1999. Me and a good friend of mine explored into the Amway business. I had a person that had dripped on me what the Amway compensation plan looked like a few years prior. And it always kind of resonated in my mind because one of the main things that he shared with me was about leverage, being able to get what I did not know about then, but I learned and grew to learn, which was called residual income, doing something, one time and getting paid on it over and over again. And I also had this nice little stint in executive protection. And so I a brief thing of executive protection with several entertainers and artists and professionals in the world and so forth and so on. So that was my visual on residual income, knowing that they, sang music and made movies and did those things. I paid on over and over again. And so my first experience in the network marketing was back in '99. It was a very brief experience because that led me to another company that kind of trained and really molded my mind into that industry right around 2000. So that's been about how long it's been.
Did you make a lot of money in that business that you would consider a lot of money? Did you ever get to 10,000 a month in that first network marketing deal?
Absolutely not. And I honestly don't know if I made any money, to be truthful. That my first several years trying to experience network marketing, it was all training. I was practicing. I didn't know. I thought I was working and building the business, but unbeknownst to me, I was going through learning curves. I was going through the failures. I had to develop the tough skin. Went from being an industry cow to an industry grinder. We talk about that another day on another stream. But that first couple of years was my learning.
Okay, you kind of went out right there, like the technical, your connection looking bad. All right, you back now. All right, so you saying that in your first couple of stints in network marketing, what kept you doing network marketing? Because a lot of people, when they don't have a success, they leave, they don't do it no more. They say it don't work, they talk bad about it, it's a pyramid scheme. What kept Kevin 2X involved in network marketing, always looking for a network? What kept you into that?
Well, was the statement that was made early in my learning of network marketing by the name of Jay Abby, and he had said I would rather get 1% of people as opposed to them because.
Okay, family. So looked like he was having technical issues. I don't know if it's storming in DC, if you're in DC area. check to see if it's storming. But let us go to a quick commercial real quick, and let's see, could he jump back and see, can he have the audio, the connection right? I don't know if it's a storm going on over there or whatever, but let's see. So let us jump into a real quick commercial real quick, and we'll be right back.
The origins of life in the universe.
Okay, he's back. Okay, is it storming over there, brother?
Man, that's just the interference of magic, brother. They know that this thing about to get piping. That's all.
All right, so let me ask that, because you didn't go clear. I heard J. Paul get it, but we didn't hear that all the way clear. So let me ask that one more again. Replay that. What kept you out of all the hurdles, not making any real money, network marketing user, traditional business owner? What kept you looking for a network and still getting into a network?
Okay, so I was not introduced to physically, but introduced through concept. A gentleman by the name of J. Paul Getty. And there was a statement that he had made that said that I would rather get 1% of 100 people's efforts as opposed to 100% of my own, because of the reason, if something were to happen to me at 100% of my own efforts, my 5, 10 fingers and 10 toes, then my income would be brutally interrupted. So at 1% of 100 people's efforts, if something were to happen to me or I was removed from the equation, 99% of my income would still come to me. And that hit me like a ton of bricks when I heard about it. And I always pondered on that concept. And I said to myself, well, if I could just incorporate the efforts of some other people, which I was technically doing with my business at the time, then I could ultimately fade to black. I could ultimately step out, or I could, start pursuing my time freedom, which was something that was very near and dear to my heart. So, that's what kept driving me, the idea, plus physically seeing individuals who were successful at the time and who were making it and were living a lifestyle that I only dreamed about. And so, that was something that kept feeding my spirit to keep moving.
Oh, man, that's powerful. So what company, you don't have to call a name if you don't, just what year that the company you was in when you did started to make money in network marketing and your name started to get out there? Because in network marketing, you have a strong name because you actually know how to network. So what was that? What year was that when it really clicked, or when you really got it out there, when your face got out there and you really started making money?
That for me was right around 2002. I got a phone call because the company that I was in, I was aspiring through the levels of ranking through that company. And I got a telephone call from a young lady, and she offered to fly me to Salt Lake City, Utah. Well, actually Provo, Utah at the time. And she was like, if you get there, then I'll take care of everything else. I want you to take a look at something. And so to me, I was like, shoot, that's just a flight. You know what I'm saying? I'm going on vacation on your dime. And so, I took her up on that and went out there. And, of course, she held to her word and showed me a very nice experience meeting several of the, high net worth individuals in that particular company. And, I was able to spend a couple of days listening to some of the technology that was supposed to come from that program. And I was shocked. I was really astounded. And so when I came back home, as fate would have it, the product that they were introducing to me, or that they had talked about, and they had this scientific research and so forth and so on. About a week later, I got a telephone call that my mother was being rushed to the emergency room. And so I ran to the emergency room, and I had that bottle of product with me in my trunk. And when I got there, they told me that her blood pressure had went up to almost 200 and something over 100. And, she was right at the borderline of having a stroke. Well, while I was in Salt Lake City, when I was in Utah, they talked about experiences like that. And so I ran to my trunk and I grabbed the product and I went and I gave it to her in triage. And my mother, she trusted me at that time and gave me, took the product without no question. She, and we just sat there talking while they was preparing her and getting her ready to, go through her procedures or whatever. And in 3 hours, it stabilized her blood pressure. And so we sat in there, and when the doctors came in there to actually run tests, and they saw that her pressure and stuff was normal, everybody was looking around the room. She was looking at me like, "What was this that you?" And I'm sitting up there like, "Oh boy, here we go." And so that was the beginning of that. I utilized her story for the next 6 months to run that company to me ending up with 5 figures a month and more. I have built a really, really nice organization all over the United States and abroad. That product, it was because I was really a believer. I bared witness to what it did right there on the spot. And, the product worked. They had some amazing testimonies. But as fate would have it, as most companies do, they start tampering with the proprietary flavoring and the ingredients, and then they start making adjustments to compensation plans. And some of your listening audience will understand what I'm talking about, because it's inevitable that as things scale and grow, there's always that tamper. And so that started to happen, and then it just didn't make sense for me to continue to put my sweat equity in that project. So we exited stage left.
Man, so how many companies have that have you started that you had to close down, that failed year, 2 years? How many companies you personally have LLC'd or incorporated that didn't stay afloat?
Too many for me to even name, to be honest. I mean, I've tried a few things. There's been several things that I've attempted to try, businesses that I've brought out and, tried product. I mean, all kinds of different things. And so I've had my share of failures in entrepreneurship, period. But then when we talk about the network marketing, because I constantly, had one foot in, one foot out, or, at certain time intervals, both feet in, and then, companies would either overpromise and underdeliver, or, things was just a struggle, or I went through my learning curves, or even just life curves. And so therefore, it's just been a constant battle to stay on the journey, but, we're still here.
So it seems to me, from me knowing you seem like you're a traveling man, right? So what was the first country that you went to that was outside? The first time you went outside of the United States, where did you go?
Shoot, I've been quite a few places. So I mean, I think my very, very first time getting a chance to utilize my passport, I believe it was to Belize. I traveled over to Belize, and that was with an artist that I was working with on a project. I've been quite a few places, Dominican Republic, multiple times. I've been to, Africa. I've been to Iceland.
Been to Iceland?
Yeah, I've been to Iceland. I've been to Germany a few times, and of course, we've been over to the United Arab Emirates several times, and had an opportunity with you and your lovely wife to go out to Seychelles, Africa, just a few short months ago. And I've been a few Amsterdam. I've been a few places. I've traveled. Outside
out of all the places you have been, what's the one place that you would say you would pack up your wife, Sherry, Kyrie, the family, and you would move? And I ain't gonna say never come back, but you would just move and just go out there and live. What's that number one place that you have been to that you could see yourself actually getting citizenship there and staying there?
Well, I would right now I would probably have to say South Africa. I had a beautiful, humbling experience over in South Africa. It was a surreal experience, and the countryside over there is so amazing and beautiful.
What part?
We went to Cape Town, South Africa. Mm-hmm. And so getting the opportunity to go down there and see that beautiful side land, it was amazing. That would probably be a place that I would want to, park myself for a few minutes.
Oh man. All right, you got me with that one, brother. I wasn't looking for that one, right? You got me with that one, right? So, man, let's shift gears. Let's get it started now. So that was just a warm up, brother. Oh man, Team Freedom. You got it on your hat. You got it on shirts, right? When did you brand this? And how many did you start with? Because it's a team, so you couldn't start it by yourself. What year was that you said this was? I'm gonna brand this. I'm gonna make this our organization name, and I'm gonna wear it like a badge of honor. What year was that?
I think that was right around about 2016, 2016, and we really got in the trenches of it around 2017. I had about 9 individuals, core members at that time, or individuals at that time that had been running with me. That we came, when I came up with the idea, I sat down and I just started saying I was building in a company at the time, and we were having just a little bit of success moving around. And the vision, it was the starting of a company. And so one day I sat in my office and I started to just think, what is my purpose? What do I want to drive this push? And my mentor said to me, as we talked about it a little bit, he said, you got to come up with a purpose that's way larger than money. It can't be money, because the industry will absolutely deliver to you the number and the amount that you want. And after you get the money and you help several people get the money, then what? So it has to be way bigger than money. It had to be a mission. It had to be a cause, something that you could, hang your hat on and push off, and somebody else could pick that banner up for. And so the one thing that kept on hitting me, real heavy to my chest was freedom. I just wanted to get my full and complete freedom. I wanted to be able to move like I wanted to move. I wanted to be able to do like I wanted to do. I wanted to have a freedom to be able to have no limits with money. I wanted to just, be on that side of freedom. And so when I wrote that down on my desk, I just sat it there for about 2 or 3 days, just looking at the word. And finally, I started saying to myself, what can I mean, or what can I make this word mean that could identify the mission that I was on? And as God would have it for real, the visual came into my mind, and I just started jotting it down. Freedom then became an acronym that stands for finding real educated entrepreneurs to help develop others to a millionaire mentality. And the reason why I came up with that was because I had my level of disappointments in the industry, where there were people who were faking it till they make it. They were trying to, or they was appealing or saying that they were, making all of this money or doing whatever, or they was in these companies hitting top ranks and saying that, things. And then I would find out, once I started to aspire and get to that level, that there was a lot more to the back door. And so that started to disappoint me, because they would never tell you that at the front. When you get invited to a meeting, and they didn't just lay it all out and tell you truthfully what needed to happen. And so I wanted to find the real educated, the real people that was educated, that could help me teach me and help me develop some other people, because I always knew it had to come with a team. Everybody understands the acronym of team together, everyone achieves more. So that was understood. So Team Freedom came and was birthed because I wanted to put together a movement. I wanted some people that would adopt the visual of knowing that first and foremost, the objective was freedom. All of us needed to be free. And then the mission was for us to educate some other people, meaning to incorporate their efforts, but educating them in the way of thinking like a millionaire. And the reason why I said a millionaire mentality was because it had nothing to do with money. I really honestly believe that if I dropped a duffel bag with $1 million on your doorstep, if you don't understand what to do with money or how to spend money or the purpose of money, then you're just going to go get a Bentley and a barbecue grill, and you're going to end up broke. And so I felt that it was my mission to start educating people on the way of thinking like millionaires that hold on to their money, the people that successfully are consistent millionaires. And if we could wrap our minds around that level of thinking, then we could aspire to take that to billionaire, trillionaire lifestyles. And so that became the mission, that became the movement, and that's how Team Freedom was brought into play.
So with you, it was never about the money. But what you say when people just say it ain't all about the money and this and the third? Because I just told that to some brother today. I was telling them, I said, don't get caught up in folks saying that, you know, because you might be trying to get rich or something. They saying it ain't about money. Well, don't go to work. Don't go to work. If it ain't about money, why you going to work? Okay. So we can't get caught up in that illusion because it is about the money. It's just not all about the money. It's all about what's on that hat, freedom. That's what it's all about. And it takes money to do that. Man, so great answer. So you've been in network marketing. You've been in this all this time. You started your organization. You started your brand. You came in the Wealth Builders Worldwide, you know, in what, 2017 and tore it up, right? You talking about you made a name for yourself now. Now everybody know Team Freedom. Everybody know Kevin 2X. You know what I'm saying? You made a name for Freedom, even to some of the ones you brought in. Some people, we still remember some of those. You know what I'm saying? And some of them got famous from being in Team Freedom and went off and did whatever they want to say. So it caused a lot of controversy. It caused a lot of negative talk. It caused a lot of hate because I was just talking to somebody today. You know, we ain't doing no name dropping. But anyway, you know, when you have success to the level that you have had success and having success, it breeds envy and it breeds haters. Now, what do you want to say? Or what advice do you have for your haters? Because they're watching, so just let them know. What do you have to say? You can say it uncut.
Well, actually, you know, the main thing that I would like to say is, you know, just keep watching, because I got some more for you to hate for. You know what I mean? And that, you know, if that's what you choosing to do, then I'm gonna give you what you want. And so literally, you know, I'm hoping that at some point that hate will turn into some congratulate, and it'll help you in your life and your, you know, for you to come over and see that there's a better opportunity in being in partnership with me than really running with the hate, because you know, I'm not gonna stop. You can't stop me. You know what I'm saying? Is you know, if it's only by the way of God that if he takes the breath out of my body, that I'm not gonna keep pushing. So if you got a reason because of my level of success or because of my sweat equity or because of my work ethic to have a desire to be jealous or envious of what I do, then I'm gonna feed you all day long. But I hope and I pray that my example or what I do really resonates on the few that'll make the difference. Because see, I'm not really worried about the haters. I mean, I hashtag this, you know, terminology said, you know, about just keep watching, keep looking, keep seeing, because the movie ain't over yet. You know, we still making the movie. You know, it's gonna be a documentary. So just keep watching.
And you said something about your work ethic. So let the people know, because we got a few people watching. What is a day like in a day of Kevin 2X? What is that day like? How does that day start? And what is that process like?
Well, first and foremost, I wake up when I'm finished sleeping every day. And that's not because I'm lazy or I wake up at the crack of noon. I don't. What I do is I work until I'm tired, and then I go to sleep. And then when my body says it's time to get up or we got an agenda or some things to do, I'm on my own time. I don't own an alarm clock. I now have a 10-year-old and he's my alarm clock. And so I beat at his drum, you know what I mean? And so in that day, I get up with much gratitude in the mornings. I take a few moments to myself to really immerse myself to maybe what I did not finish or complete from the previous day. I start looking into my back office to find out exactly who I need to contact and who I need to call, who might be right on the cup of, you know, some bonuses or production, or who's aspiring. I just start my study and my research. And then I'll take a few moments to try to listen to something that'll really give me some energy. I pull back into my energy with some motivational conversation. And one of those things is this amazing system that we put together with a power call that we have every morning at 10:45. So tapping into those types of resources just gives me my fuel for the day. And then, right after all of that's complete, I hit the ground running. I start making telephone calls, and I generally have my phone or my Zoom platform totally in operation until I close my eyes at the end of the night. I'm either, I watched my mentor, Mr. Michael Dalco, move and transition. He'll be on a telephone call and he'll transition, he'll jump on a Zoom, and then you might see his screen go to his avatar for a minute, and then when he open it back up, he riding in the car. And I started just, to take that, but I'm not a person that has learned per se yet how to put that level of focus in play. I usually like to be still, right on my system, so that I could make my moves. I got my whole, it's like a cockpit right here. And I got everything that I need. If it's a book I need to confer with, I got my pen and my pad, all the things that I need with multiple screens. And so transitioning hasn't been one of my strong suits, but I'm learning how to do that to keep things on the go. But generally my day is, some of the people that have had the awesome experience of being around me throughout the course of the day, like my man Frank Muhammad, he's a stalker for real, but just kind of get an opportunity to see how the back-to-back calls and how some people get the voicemail and then follow up and then jumping on the Zoom or then the train. I mean, just nonstop. But that comes with the level of focus, knowing that there's an agenda. And see, now that things have happened to the level that they are happening for me and my family, the agenda steps outside of myself. People say, well, why are you still running so hard? You're doing pretty well financially. Is because it's never been about me. It's always been about the team of people that I aspire to make sure that it happens with. See, I heard people say all the time that it's lonely at the top. Well, I don't want it to be lonely for me at the top. I'm trying to have several of my people that I love, care for, and respect, the folks that I could call and say, hey, meet me on the island, or, let's do lunch here. If we could fly in or whatever, this, that, and the third. And then when we get there, we all fighting over the check. I want that type of environment around me, and I know that I got to build it. So it keeps me focused and keeps me running.
Well, probably if you want to get like Mr. Diaco on the transitioning and moving around like that, you might need to get you a driver, because that brother got a driver. That brother don't drive, right? You know what I'm saying? So he able to pop on the camera. He ain't got to worry about the word. So you need to get you a driver, man.
Yeah, that's coming.
You'll be able to do it like that, right? So, man, that's great, man. And so before we transition and get into some more questions, who inspired you, two things, to be an entrepreneur, and where did you adopt the work ethic, the strong work ethic from?
Well, first and foremost, it came from my father. My father, I watched him as I came up as an entrepreneur. My dad, I never seen him work a job. He always had his own businesses, and he taught me. He was the one that taught me my education about, diesel mechanics and tractor trailers and how to drive trucks. I think I was probably about 10 or 11 years old when he first put me behind the wheel of my first experience of a tractor trailer. And I got real good at it, and I loved it. And it was that love for watching what he did that inspired me. And then I also, watched him work every single day, every day. And it wasn't a day that he took off per se. And my father wasn't one of those ones that would come up to the school for conferences or when things that was happening. He was always working. He was, putting his work in. And so that also inspired me to say, I wasn't going to work that hard, but I wasn't going to work that hard that it was going to keep me away from my children. I was going to get my grind in and then get to the point where I could free myself up. So I would have to say that it was my father. But then the level of discipline came when I met my spiritual father. My spiritual father came into my life, and that was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he taught me how to have a little more of a discipline as a man, to be, aspiring as a dignified Black man in this world where, we have a lot of controversy. We have a lot of things that are in front of us to really, take our focus, away in things to that effect. And so I learned a certain level of discipline from my spiritual father.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Me also, likewise, brother. So let's get into it, man. Because we said we supposed to be talking about blockchain banking. I know that's what y'all come to hear about, so we won't talk about it. We talk about networking. Had to talk about. He's a professional networker. But before we get to the blockchain, before we get to GS Partners, how, brother, are you able to build these teams? Because it's like something, it's like you got a magic wand or something. Like you have a specific eye for talent. And when I'm saying talent, I'm saying potential, somebody being a potential certified networker. You have a specific eye for that. And you've been able to do that. And the base of that success is like that. And why I'm saying that, family, because we in GS Partners now, when he relaunched Team Freedom, he only started with 9 people, and with like a couple of months, maybe it was at 3,000 to 5,000 to 4,000 people real quick, right? And he always hit at least executive. For those that don't know, that's at least $100,000 in revenue, crypto revenue, by the way. And so how do you, like, what is that? Because that's a gift. That got to be some type of gift that you can pull out of people what's not there. Because we talk about it all the time. You be like, bro, you got to tap. I like, brother, I get these folks on the phone. These folks tell me what they're gonna do. They won't listen to me. They won't let me coach them. They know it. I be like, hey, look, what you gonna do? What happened to that? Hey, call him right now. No, I'm gonna call him. He call you back. I'm gonna get to him. That's what they do to me. You know what I'm saying? I said, oh, come on, hop on Zoom. I can't do it right now, but you get people hop on Zoom. You get people call their long lost brother and everything, right? Like, how are you able to do work that magic like that, brother? I like explain that there, because we all need to know that. He called it tap rooting, but tell us how you able to do that, brother.
See, I can't give you the drip for free. It's gonna cost you a little something. And so,
I got some money. I got something, bro.
I know you got some money now. I know where to come and get a couple dollars if I need it. But no, in all honesty, brother, real talk. For me, it's just being able to listen. When I meet people, or when I bring them into what we're doing, or when someone introduces me to people, I listen, I ask questions, and then I close my mouth and listen. And I take notes. And sometimes people don't, I'll be on the other line, on the other side of the line, taking notes and jotting down certain things that people tell me. And so when they are talking to me about, where they are, where they would like to be, what reason they would probably get into business for, I'll be looking for that pain point of the reasoning. And then I go there and I just apply pressure there. I'll stay on the point that they saying that they want to, put their child in private school, or I'll stay on that point where they talk about they want to, be able to get off their job in just a couple of years, and, what that magic number might be. And so I then turn the situation of what I have and show them the benefit of what I have and how they can have it in the same capacity. And then I make sure that they know I'm here for you, to let you know you don't have to do it by yourself, and then I put my best foot forward and I show folks you'll quit on yourself before I quit on you. And so I genuinely have a concern most of the time with most people where we develop a more than a business situation. It turns personal to me now, because now I have my personal agenda of bringing you into this freedom fold. And so we'll conversate and I'll check on you and how's your day and how your children. And that turns into a different level of loyalty where people now will listen and do what I ask them to do. And then what I request, or the things that I show, is very simple. Introduce me to somebody that you know. Allow me to have the conversation because I have the answers. And I generally have to polish a person because we've been programmed for so long to think that we need to know what we're talking about. When people ask questions, we always want to give the prolific answer, or we want to, be able to sound so intelligent. Well, in the business that we're in, it's not even about that. I always tell most people, and folks on the line, they could put it in the chat if they bear witness, that most people, I tell them off the break, there's a phrase that I want you to commit to your memory for me. And it's real simple. It's just, that's a great question. I don't want to mess it up for you or for me. Allow me to get you on the phone with the person that's going to answer that. And see, if you master that conversation alone, when you get to ask them, because people are going to ask, well, tell me a little bit about it. Well, give me a little bit more information. We don't try to evade those questions. We just try to put the people that can answer those questions in position, because if for a new person, psychologically, this business is they just trying to evaluate whether or not you know what you're talking about or not. How you supposed to know if you brand new? But your people will ask you, how much money you making? Well, didn't I just tell you I just got started a month ago? I ain't really made nothing, But, they take that and use it as an excuse as to the reason and not the look. But I don't take the excuses. You can't get at me. So I help the people. And with that assistance, people see a level of success very, very quickly. That's another thing. A lot of people have heard me utilize the terminology of people like a Popeye's biscuit. You know about Popeyes, right, bro?
Oh, absolutely.
You go in there, but you got to go in, not through the drive-through. You got to go in. And when they put them hot biscuits on the shelf, things like fire, put that butter and that honey on them or whatever, however you like it, them things is magic. But get that hot biscuit home and let it sit on the counter for a couple of hours, and it turns into a hockey puck. Sometimes people like that too.
Yeah.
You can't warm them up. You can't put them back in the oven. You can't microwave them. There ain't none of that. You got to get them while they hot. And so when people come into the business, I tend to, explode that into a right now conversation. Who can we talk to today? Who's the person that's coming to your mind right now? Did anything that I said make sense? Because if it did, who do you think it might make sense to? Let's call them right now. And when we put that type of sense of urgency on it, because see, time and money like speed, right? And so when you do that, and a person coming, it don't matter if it's $5 that they make or $25 that they make or $2,500 that they excited that they made something. And see, I've now been speaking to people and saying, listen, man, you remember when we used to talk about the tooth fairy? And you put that tooth up under your pillow and grandma would come in there and slide you a couple quarters? Well, imagine sticking $200 under your pillow, and every 7 days, that $200 turns into a $5 bill. See, sometimes $5 may not sound like a lot, but I dare you, go outside and see a $5 bill and walk by it. Don't pick it up. Matter of fact, I double dare you. See, because we still watch people pick up quarters, nickels, and dimes. They might walk past a penny or two, but let a $5 bill be sitting on your porch when you go outside tomorrow. It's going to make a difference. And when you could put a system in place that's going to allow something like that to come to you every 7 days, it's substantial. My mentor told me that you could take $1. If you double it every year, you're going to become a millionaire. It's just that simple.
Wow, man, that's a heavy. That question there got a lot of grits cooking in it, dude. Right, that question there was heavy. We're going to have to chop that answer up, right? So listen, we're going to have to make that as its own little stream right there. So, man, let's get into it, man, because we're approaching 1 hour. Now we want to get to the blockchain. We want to get to GS Partners. What was the first coin that caught your eye? What was the first crypto coin that actually caught your eye and said, it made you say, I need to take a look at this? What was that coin?
Ethereum.
And what was the price of Ethereum at that time?
When it caught my attention, I think the price was right at about $60, almost $70.
And you went in, you didn't just look, or did you go ahead and get in?
Oh no, I went in heavy.
Why? I mean, why? But did you know anything about crypto at the time, or did you do some research? What you do?
I was hearing about the understanding of the blockchain, and Bitcoin had my attention, and I watched it go up to 17,000 and come back. And when it did that, I thought that I had missed out, but I was starting to learn and starting to listen about other alternative coins, or they call them altcoins, and Ethereum was one. And it was the technology that was coming behind it. They was talking about this thing called a smart contract. They was talking about their own blockchain. They was talking about, these things. And I was like, wow, ownership always is king. You know what I'm saying? When you own property, when it's bigger than just renting or leasing or whatever. So ownership was always sticking in my mind. And so when the technology evolved itself, or when I saw that it was getting ready to do it, I kind of dove in. I really took all that I didn't have at the time, and I bet it on black, and then Ethereum went through the roof. So I was able to, capitalize off that. But, things like that now, those are those one hit wonders, really, especially in the cryptocurrency space. We no longer wait and hold coins waiting for them to, go up and down. And I say that real shallow because we now have a project that we're working on that I'm sure we'll get into the conversation about in a minute. But, that coin, because we know the utility that we are internally creating for it, is a coin that you may want to, hodl and wait for it to do its thing, because the best is yet to come. But Ethereum was the coin that really made me a believer in the blockchain and its technology.
Ethereum. So we saying why? So you've been in business, right? Don't you own a few rental property? You got an Airbnb and all of this, right? You have that now, right?
Yes, sir.
And you have to use traditional banks to get all that stuff, right? To do all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
So what it is about the blockchain that makes you decide that, I ain't gonna say all of your money, but most of your money, or more than what you got in the traditional bank, you rather have on the blockchain? Why?
Well, the number one reason is because I've had the experience in my businesses or traditional businesses to move large amounts of money. When I had the construction company, I remember they wanted me to hold $280,000 in an escrow account in season because they paid me net 90. So they wanted to know that I was going to be capable of taking care of equipment, payroll, products, materials, all these things while in order for me to hold on to the contract. But one of the red flags that really that went off for me at the time, I couldn't do nothing about it. But when the blockchain came around, it made it make all sense for me, was the fact that they wouldn't allow me to decide on the type of escrow account that money needed to go in. I couldn't put it in an interest-bearing account that I reaped the benefit from. The company that I was holding the contract with made that decision, and so therefore they ate off the interest of my money, and I couldn't. So when the blockchain conversation and technology was presented to me, and it allowed me to see that I could have peer-to-peer transactions and that I could move large sums of money or the currency of that which without having to ask permission, that was an eye-opener to me, to know that the technology exists to protect me and my recipient, to make sure that transaction was authenticated in a nanosecond, it just made sense. So many people feel like they got money in the bank. No, you don't. The bank got your money in the bank. They don't realize that you have signed over custodial ownership to your money to them, and it no longer belongs to you. And that's why when you have to go in and get larger sums of money, you got to ask permission, and you got to wait until they ready. They'll tell you your wire transfer, it'll be there tomorrow or maybe the next day. They don't even give you no guarantees of delivery. You go in and you ask for a certain amount of money and they tell you, nah, you got to make an appointment to do that. But the reason why the world as we know it most times don't experience that is because they're not moving money. They're living paycheck to paycheck and they're leveraging credit. And so therefore you're not having to go in there and 5,000 and 10,000. Matter of fact, they got us in fear of thinking that if you do anything over $10,000, the IRS and all this, that I have found it to not be true. You know, they document large transactions and things to make sure that you ain't out here on no foolishness and you know, not funding no, you know, yeah, that conversation. But at the same time, when they see that you are a legitimate business and they see that there's a need, you can't operate business out here without moving large sums of money. You know, you got to have payroll. You're going to have equipment. You're going to pay bills, you know, and especially when I was in with my trucks, man, shoot, you could blow one tire just to get you off the highway. The tow truck was going to come be a $500, $600 experience. You know, so now when you taking that vehicle into a shop and everything, the invoice that they gonna give you is definitely gonna have a comma in it. You know, so now when you moving money to that extent, especially on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, you're gonna run into some of those things where the bank is gonna show you who they really are. And so when the blockchain came to me, and it allowed me to understand that the technology put the transactions in my hands, brother, it was a brand new day for me.
Man, that's powerful, man. I like what Myron Goldman said. You know what a checking account is? You know what a checking account is? A checking account is when you loan your money to the bank interest free.
That's
and then they charge you back interest on a credit card.
There they go.
You know the checking account. I just hit everybody there. You know the checking account is? Yeah, man, that's so funny. But man, great answer, man. So the blockchain is decentralized. The blockchain is where you can leverage it and move large sum without asking permission. So that's a great answer. So how do you feel? A lot of people don't know this, but like I said, we have a conversation. How do you feel about being one of the, like a lot of folks don't know this, but you are one of the designers to the compensation plan in GS Partners. Like, when you know that, like I'm saying it now, family, y'all just heard it. Like, how does that feel? You know what I'm saying? That you was Mr. Dalco's right-hand man, that you was like, who did he sign up before you? Did he sign up Monisha before you, of course, and then you. Like, how does that feel? And he, you know, we'll talk about him sponsoring the damn billionaire. He going in history for that. Ain't never been done. Never been done. Mr. Dalco is an official legend just on that alone, right? How does that, like, you know what I'm saying? How does that really make you feel when you see that, how, you know, the way you help design the comp plan, and hey, you look around and see, and that, you know, ain't nothing else out there touching GS Partners?
Well, first of all, it's a humbling experience because, you know, he didn't have to allow me to peep through his blinds. He didn't have to allow me to be on his hip while those things was going on. And so I'm forever grateful that he saw something in me enough to hold me close, and that, in my opinion, mattered. That it was valuable for him to bounce certain things off of me and share certain information with me. Because see, what a lot of people don't know is that prior to the launch of GS Partners on December the 1st, 2020, I was included with Mr. Dalco for about 2 or 3 months into the conversations of that was going on. When he was having those private council meetings and conversations with the chairman of the board, most times he would call me afterwards and we would talk about it. We would chop it up. And he, you know, swore me to, you know, to keep my mouth closed. And I did, you know, because I understood the power of what was getting ready to happen. But to realize the implementation of certain things that I know, him and I sat up late nights and went through PowerPoints and conversation and played with numbers and, you know, certain things. And then he would say, we had a meeting tomorrow. And then 2 days later or so, whatever, he'd come back and say, okay, this is going to roll out. And, you know, it was an honorable position to be in. And I was always forever humbled. And so when that day came And he was like, get everybody in order, get your front, get your runners ready, and we ready to send out links and everything. And I was sitting there, man, and it was funny because there's only a couple people that knew about this, but the night of November 30th or so, we was making phone calls, getting everybody ready, and my phone crashed. Went out, just went dead on me. And I literally hightailed it to the phone store right before they was ready to close the door, bullied my way into the door, and was like, nah, y'all gotta give me a new phone. You don't understand what's getting ready to happen for me in a couple of hours. I gotta have a phone. And so I sat in there, I held the people in there hostage for a couple of hours to get me a phone. And then and it was crazy because even though they gave me another phone, they couldn't port my number because something was wrong with my phone. So I had to operate off of a telephone and trying to get in. And most of my partners thought I wouldn't go. I just went dark, but I got this number. I can't get the no, man. Anything that could happen went happen in that couple of hours. And finally, I got a call to Mr. Dalco where he sent me the link and we was able to get it out to everybody, and the rest was history. But it just showed the level of resilience or focus and constant, just to keep pushing through and never let the door closed to be the excuse to turn back. Far as I'm concerned, when a door get closed, I'm looking for a window, and when a window get closed, I'm gonna climb on the roof. And if I can't get down in the escape hatch, I'm gonna dig a tunnel up under the door and I'm gonna get in the building somehow. So you might as well go ahead and warm me up a seat in the VIP because I'm coming. That's my mindset. So I'm honored that Mr. Dalco saw enough in me to share that information with me. And, now the relationship that he has with our chairman of the board, I share that relationship as well. He sends me private messages on Messenger. And, as a matter of fact, he told me that I owe him for not showing up in Dubai right now. So I'm kind of in the doghouse, but I get up out of there.
Man, that's a powerful story right there, man. That's a powerful story. And that started, the new phase, 2.0 or 3.0. You did a 3.0. So, man, you better on 5.0 with Team Free. That brother will purge in a minute, right? But listen, so that's an amazing story, man. So you being the head, the founder of one of the strongest teams, most consistent teams in GS Partners, is Team Freedom. Since October, you've been able to do a minimum of $1 million in revenue. And these are 30-day periods, family, for those that don't know. Now, how are you able to keep that intact? Because I tell people all the time, the reason I'm asking it like that is because when people come to networking, they think that a salesman can really come and network it and just go crazy. Yeah, in the GS Partners, he can make a lot of money, but will it sustain? Will it be over time that he's doing these numbers over and over? Because you're a networker, I'm a networker. I know we got into networking per sales, but I know that to be in networking and to keep a team intact, you got to do more than just know how to sell a product. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to do that. So give us some signs on how you have been able to do that. And we probably was doing over $1 million before you actually hit Ambassador because it got to be spread it out. But explain, just give us some signs, brother, on how you've been able to do that. And you hit Globe Ambassador about 2 months ago, right? You hit Globe Ambassador, which was $3 million in a month, but I'm pretty sure we was over the $3 million. And this is a 30-day period, family. But talk about give us some juice on that, and then talk about the significance, brother, of we have these teams doing $500,000, $600,000, $800,000, $900,000, $1 million in 1 month in revenue. Talk about how powerful that is. You being a business owner, traditional business owner, how powerful is that?
Well, to cross over $1 million monthly in revenue is not a easy feat. You know, in our compensation plan, you can, you know, get through our director ranks and our executive ranks somewhat by yourself. But in order for you to carry over the jump from 300,000 to 600,000 to a million, it takes a team. It takes grooming some other people. It takes having some folks that are focused on the mission as well. And so for me, one of my main things was being able to understand the software, understanding the back office, being able to look and almost project certain numbers and activity, being on the phone and knowing who had prospective irons in the fire, so that I know, okay, if this person is going to come and see, you know, when you say talk about that number, see what most folks don't realize is that we're not spending the money. We're helping people save it. And every single, this is not reoccurring. This is not something that, this is fresh dollars every 30 days. And so it's not an easy feat to be able to go out there. And when you compare it to, your traditional businesses, I had a gentleman one time ask me in, trying to be, facetious. He was like, how's that little business you doing? And I said, well, I'm glad that you asked. And I went to Google and I got to Googling because, a lot of people trust in Google. So, I pulled up the information on a traditional McDonald's franchise. And it takes about $1 million+ just to open a McDonald's franchise. But the owners of McDonald's generally only make about $100,000 to $150,000 revenue in their pocket.
Revenue.
They're running a whole system, with inventory and employees and, all this and that. And the gross monthly revenue is generally not that $1 million. So when you put it side by side, where our business, my overhead every 30 days is $33 and my cell phone bill. Whereas a traditional business, you got lease space, you got employees, you got, hell, I had the software that kept track of the time sheets to payroll people was almost $400-500 a month. Some people spend more in gas, going back and forth to work or going back and forth to their business. And so when you talk about knowing and understanding our software imprint enough to see how the numbers go and on a day-to-day basis, what that push needs to look like in order to get these goals out of the way, you got to be 100% focused on it. And that's where most people drop the ball because folks be lifing. Folks want to go out and they want to go out, and see, for me, I don't go out to do my business, but I always do my business while I'm out. I'm always sorting and looking for new people or even handling business with my partners that's on the phone. And, while it's a process. And I've had multiple people say to me, I would never do what you do. And I say, I know, that's why you'll never have what I got. And so literally the focus of being able to, it worked the same way for LeBron James and Michael Jordan. When they went in the gym at dark 30 in the morning and was shooting them jumpers, it was players that said, man, I ain't never going to get up that early to do it. And they were never legends like they were. And so it's all in the sweat equity. It's all in the work ethic of how you or what your mission is. My mission just happens to be that I'm trying to rescue some families that we can go out here and all of us can eat off of $50,000 and $100,000 a month. Not just me, So carrying that weight on my shoulders is what I choose to do. It's not just about me. When we talk about it not being about, that is not about the money, it's really not. It's really about it not being about the money. You see, we want to get to a point where it doesn't matter. Because see, even though we understand that money don't buy you everything, it means some people say it don't buy happiness. I just happen to believe that it puts a hell of a down payment on it. You see? And so I feel like when you get money out of the way as an issue, there's not much that it can't do Well, some people would turn around and say, well, it can't buy you life. Well, I have a reason to argue with that, because I saw my father-in-law get a double lung transplant and extended his life another 4.5 years this day. You see what I'm saying? So money got out the issue, was able to incur him to be able to get that lifestyle. Certain things that he needs right now to this day, money not being an issue is presented, and therefore he has a different style of life. So when you get money out of the way as an issue, there's no reason why you can't order a flight the way you order meals. There's no reason why you can't just pop in and pop out across the equator as you see fit. You could change lives at that point. The mission becomes way beyond just a vacation somewhere on the white sandy beaches of the world. It becomes now being a mission where we now see fit to put, recreational centers in our community to get our babies off the street. And we ain't have to go ask for the funding. We put the funding together, being able to put assisted living programs and things to that effect, and 501c3s together where we can go and help and put tiny homes or container homes in communities and get some of these homeless people from under the bridge. See, that's when the mission becomes, when it matters, when you get money out the way and you mix that money, out the way with a purpose that helps change people's lives. That's what it becomes about. So, pushing in that respect gives me the gasoline that I need.
Man, that's powerful, man. So in your business, in your years of business, your years of networking, have you ever seen anything close to GS Partners and what we're doing?
That would be a hard no. And the reason is because of my experience in knowing that traditional businesses generally don't do business with network marketers, period. You either have a network marketing company or you have a traditional business. They normally don't interact in the middle. But it was all because of our mentor, Mr. Michael Dalco, who saw it fit to reach out to, Mr. Joseph Hite and have a conversation. And him being open business minded to say, you know what? If you can make it make sense, I'm gonna make it make dollars. That's what he said. And so they went into the lab and they presented that of such. And so now what we have is the magic of that marriage. And that's why most people, this goes over their head, because they don't understand how we're able to get paid multiple ways instantaneously over the blockchain the way that we do with traditional business being at the helm. They don't see it. They don't understand it. But guess what? That's okay too, because a lot of people didn't understand the technology of Uber when it was presented. A lot of people didn't understand the technology of Facebook when it was presented. And so that's what lets us know that we're on the cusp of something magical. We're going to make history with GS Partners, because right now it's at the right time. Blockchain technology is just now being introduced, where the people are really understanding what they're seeing or getting excited over the conversation of it. See, I remember back in the day when we used to talk on the telephone that was connected to the wall. And me being the youngest of siblings, I used to always have to fight with mine and go around the corner so they wasn't ear hustling in my conversation. But the cord wasn't long enough, right? Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, technology got us a cordless phone, and I could sneak in the closet and go have my conversations, right? Think about where you were when you first understood about the cassette going into the CD, and then the CD going into the DVD. The VHS tapes, Blockbuster ran out of business quick. Technology just evolved, and now we right back at that evolution. The internet gave us the last 30 years. The blockchain is going to give us the next 30.
Wow, that's powerful, man. And I was thinking about something when you said this, man, because right before we got on this screen, I was on the phone with somebody, and he watched the video, he seen it. He tell me he ain't in it, he ain't into that, he ain't that type of investor, blase, skip it. I let him talk, and I politely said when he was done, when I was able to cut in or whatnot, I said, because he was saying my opinion. I said, that ain't the conversation we supposed to be having. I said, bro, you don't supposed to be telling me your opinion. You supposed to be asking how. And I had to say some stuff. I had to, you know what I'm saying, kind of like, you know what I'm saying, poke him a little bit. I had to, like, you know what I'm saying, I had to hit him a little bit upside the head a little bit. They say, you ain't asking how. I said, brother, we ain't just launched this a week ago and we doing this. I said, man, it was a process. We had to, I said, the reason why is our billionaire chairman. When we was going through all the loops and hurdles and GS Partners wasn't making a profit, he had a deep enough pocket to make sure we overcame that storm. I said, but we here now. I said, we're here now. I said, you got to know the story. I said, this is what it is, bro. This is something that's been going on. You got to know when we started. We started with 2.5% a year, 5% a year. No, 7.5% a year, 2.5 with the nose and staking. That's what we started at. A whole year.
That's right.
I said we went from there to what? To 5% of a year. We went from there to 12% a year. We went from there to other stuff and other stuff. We just kept growing and growing and growing. You know what I'm saying? I said we kept advancing and advancing. I said, now we this. I said this. He was like, oh, but why would I do this and I can do this on my own over here? I said, you getting 15% a week? You know what I'm saying? Then I went and talked about the comp plan and what we were making out of the comp plan. I said, come on, man. We ain't even doing this. Is one of the referrals. You talking to a man that don't work, but you still work. You still, see what I'm saying? Like, this is like, come on, man. These are the conversations we got to have. That's how it's supposed to go. And then it got to that, well, how? When he said that, he said, well, how they able to give me 22% a week? I said, now we talking.
There we go.
Now we talking. You feel what I'm saying? You can't come to us like you know what's going on over here. You can't do it. You got to be on.
Our mentor, Mr. Tyrone Best, God rest his soul, may he rest in paradise, told us early on that a person with an experience is never at the mercy of a person with a theory. And what we run into on a day-to-day basis is people who theorize. They got the theory, they got the thought of how this banking thing should work based on what they've seen in the past. Well, the Wright brothers didn't think like that. The Wright brothers didn't think based on what was going on in the past. They had a futuristic mind. And here we are once again getting ready to make history just like the Wright brothers, you know, with the technology that has been handed to us that allows full transparency, which is the number one thing. See, a lot of folks don't know, and I don't want to necessarily go down in this rabbit hole, but banking was started based upon them working for you. Most people don't know that the bank was supposed to be your customer. You were supposed to come in and go to the bank branch manager or the bank owner and say, how can you grow my money? And they will open up the ledger. They will open up the book and show you, yep, I got Mr. Johnson this and I got Mr. So-and-so that. Here's the proof that I could bring you some money. But after they got enough clients in there, they closed those books. They didn't want you to see that Mr. Johnson got a smaller interest rate than you. They didn't want you to see that because they was now taking the funds out the back door and stuffing their pockets as opposed to coming and lacing yours the way that it was supposed to be done. And so now the blockchain has rescued us from that debauchery. It has given us the opportunity now to be able to have the transaction. See, we honor fees with the blockchain. We honor it. We know that there has to be toll booths and folks that do the work should be paid for their work. However, you shouldn't necessarily have to render to Caesar more than only what Caesar's supposed to get. And that's what the blockchain allows us to be able to be transparent and everything's seen above board. Some people don't understand that technology. But keep watching. Stick around for a few more days, and it's gonna come to your doorstep. When they did the history was already there. They say those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it. Well, did you forget about when they sent you a debit card or ATM, or matter of fact, let's go back further, a Most card? When you first started banking, they didn't ask your permission. They transitioned you from writing and balancing your checkbook to now giving you a check card. Some people don't even know that it was an absolute intention for them to set it up so that you could bounce your account. Think about it, Fard. Think about how many times you've ever gone to the gas station and you pop your card in there and it only authorizes $1. See, that's when they throw your books off, because now if you're not really being mindful, or if you don't really have the deposits in the account, they're banking on you going over budget and them charging you an overdraft fee. That was by design. They figured if we could just get just a fractional percentage of our customers to bounce their accounts, look at the fees that we're going to eat off of. And we fell for that madness.
And we seen it now recently. It came out because that's what Wells Fargo was doing out in San Francisco. They were doing the overdraft fees on their customers, raising the interest rates unbeknown to them, and they was taking houses and cars back. Y'all ain't hearing this, man. Don't get me started on that. We don't talk that war talk now. We're gonna stay on that war talk. Don't get me started on that, right? We'll be here for another 2 hours, right? So, family. So listen, man. And then too, brother, like, now since you brought up Mr. Best, you know what I'm saying, may Allah be pleased with the legend. You know what I'm saying? He was a living legend before he transitioned and Allah called him home. I was saving his question for last, but I had him and I wanted to ask you. Now, Mr. Best taught us a whole lot of stuff. Mr. Best taught tens of thousands of people for decades about business network marketing. What is the number one or the most important thing that he taught you personally, that you picked up from all the teaching, the training, the calls? I mean, because remember before the end of the year, he was doing up all night. We'll wake up in the morning, but the Best had been live. he was live 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. We had to watch it. It's like, damn, you know, we waking up with the power call, man. This man was up, been up. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the number one thing that you can say, that you can hang your hat on, that Mr. Best taught you, or what you got from him? Just the teaching, he teaching all of us, but what did you, the number one thing, we learned a lot of stuff from Mr. Best. Like the quote you just said, we learned about the slight. Mr. Best told me, I had never heard it, a perceived slight is worse than an actual slight. I said, damn, that's deep. So don't even, so he said that, because I had to call him one day and get some mentor. You know what I'm saying? And he answered the phone, he said, and he told me that. But it's a lot of stuff, and that stuck with me. So I try my best not to do it. You know what I'm saying? But what's the number one thing that really stick with you, that you can say made you a better networker, made you a better communicator, a better person? Because he was a direct, true communicator. You know, what's that one thing that Mr. Best taught you?
If I'd have to identify one of the most powerful things that I think that I got from Mr. Best, it would have to be how to just stay focused and run my own race, to not allow myself to be distracted by those that are, respectfully in the race with me. And so, he started giving me, emphasis, like, when the horses are raced, they put blinders on them so that they can't see in the stand, so they can't see the horse next to them. All they could see is the finish line. The only thing that they could see was what's in front of them in the finish line. And so he taught me about really just staying focused and making the main thing the main thing. See, because sometimes we get to getting off track with the minutia of things that happen every day, life. You know, I mean, because you got some people, man. You know, a death will occur in their family, and they sit their business on the wayside for a month. But you ain't never took off your job for a whole month, because matter of fact, they won't even let you take off 2-3 days. But soon as you got your focal point of what could help rescue you into a lifestyle of freedom, you ready to hang it up at moment's notice. And so one of the main things that Mr. Best taught me was how to stay focused on the main thing. What's your why? What's the reason why you in the business? And he made me identify that multiple times. And, you know, I remember at one point I was talking to him about, you know, making some purchases and doing some things that I wanted to do, you know, because I felt like it was time enough now to, you know, start growing out. He said, you know, man, I'll never tell you not to go and treat yourself. He said, but don't ever do it thinking that which you purchase is going to inspire anybody else to do anything. He said, get it because you want it. Get it because it's something that you desire. Not because you think that it's going to inspire anybody, because he said it'll actually do just the opposite. Sometimes it'll create more envy and jealousy and more hate. You know, it'll, you know, and those things can create distractions. And for a minute, I almost got distracted several times with, you know, pouring into people that I thought was right with me, and people that I thought that was going to, you know, be, you know, I had helped them. I mean, people that came to me, you know, for rent money. You know, we went on trips and they didn't have no money in their pocket to eat, and I fed them. You know, these same people that turned around and just, you know, put targets on my back and shot darts in my head and then talked bad about me in public places, and, you know, and I had to ignore that noise. I had to still stay focused on my race and continue to progress. And we see now, you know what I'm saying, that all paid off, or is paying off, thankfully. So, you know, because I don't know, some other people with the shots that I've been hit with would have took a knee, you know, and I gotta be honest, there was a couple of times in there I took an 8 count, you know what I mean, but I always got back up and got back in the fight, and I always will. You know, you gotta come a little bit better than that. You gotta knock me out. That's got to be.
That's powerful, man, because that's one of the things that Mr. Best used to always say that I had to always do too. He used to always say, don't compare yourself to nobody else. I had to keep that in the back of my head with this business, because this business is ran on ranks, and we ranking and folk, and I'm sitting here like, man, I can't hear the executive. But I would have to hear that, and he was like, don't compare yourself to nobody else. Just that alone, that's a powerful thing, family. And if you don't compare yourself, because that's like me, I can't compare myself to Kevin. Because why? Well, I don't have the business track record, the network marketing track record. Look, I'm already down. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be having crazy thoughts when I shouldn't even be having these thoughts. Why? Because I shouldn't even be comparing myself to him in the first place. I'm new to networking. You know what I'm saying? And I got to still, and Kevin, you have kept this with me too. You have always told me, even when we wasn't doing as good as we doing now, our team, you know, we wasn't doing as good as we're doing now, that you used to always show me like, brother, you're being successful. You're doing good. Don't, you know what I'm saying? You to say, but you ranking, you doing this, y'all doing 40,000, 50,000 a month, 30,000 a month. That's good. I'm showing then you to show me the numbers. Remember, you to get the numbers, and you be like, look, bro, you right here. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, brother, team fight, you right here, bro. I'm like, really? You know what I'm saying? And that kept me grounded too. You know what I'm saying? That kept me going, because it was very, very powerful, man. Man, so I thank you for tuning in, man. So we got a bonus question for you, dear brother.
Go to shenanigans.
We got a bonus question for you, brother.
Let's have it.
Have you ever made as much money as you making now in any other venture in your life?
No, nothing that I was doing legally, morally, and with the ethics that I have now to this day. You know, some people know my past life and know that I was in the streets. And, you know, when I was in the streets at a very young age, it was really, you know, crazy. You know, I had my hands on, you know, hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of dollars, but I've never experienced the level of success that I'm experiencing now today, thanks to GS Partners. And I really feel like most of it is because of my mentor, Mr. Michael Dalco, because he has been an exemplary example for me to follow. You know, I learned a long time ago that the fastest copy machine wins. And I've been cheating off his paperwork ever since I met him. And he has allowed me to do that, to see his answers. And so, you know, I'm so humbled and grateful that, you know, he came into my life and that he was as transparent and honest with me, you know, and it allowed me to position myself to where now I can chase his, you know, the footprints. You know, they say that success leaves clues. Well, he's been leaving a cookie trail for me ever since he met me. And so I'm absolutely humbled. But, you know, no, I've never made this type of flow of income, you know, consistently in anything that I've ever done. This has been a mind-blowing and humbling experience to be on this side of the success umbrella, you know, and to be able to have so many people like you, as you know, on my team that are, you know, I mean, I know some of the conversations that we had early on, and I remember some of those talks of, you know, your why and why you were here and what you wanted to aspire to do with your family. And now to see you hitting those goals and being able to bless your wife and taking care of your family and having punched the clock in years and being able to influence those that are around you to see the consistency of the work ethic that you putting on, you know, it's that's the gratification that I get the chance to sit around. You know, we have a multitude of families that, you know, we can say that we can touch, that I can humbly say that have been based on, or, you know, we've been in the same classrooms together for the last several years, and their families are seeing those 5-figure incomes monthly consistently. You know, they got those dual commas in the checks now, you know, and they're seeing the consistency of being able to see, because most folks out here running businesses are not bringing home $10, $20, $30,000 net income monthly. And we over here changing lives and have a multitude of families that are doing that thanks to Gold Standard Bank and the GS Partners arm. So, you know, to answer your question, that answer would be a strong no. But we doing it now, brother.
We doing it now. So I got 2 more bonus questions, brother. I just added these 2 more bonus right now. We're gonna call it a night, brother. All right. Do you see realistically GS Partners? This is 2 questions. Do you see realistically GS Partners making billionaires? Do you see somebody or a couple of people in GS Partners that's gonna reach the billionaire plateau out of this system? Do you see that realistically?
Absolutely. We got individuals that are right now on the cusp of that right now as we speak. We got partners like, you know, Nita Nakos and, you know, Mr. Michael Dalco, you know, individuals that are absolutely touching those types of numbers right now, you know, right at the elbow of that B, you know. And so, I mean, literally it only takes a little bit of, you know, of consistency. Remember, it takes the same amount of effort with $1 in a system that makes it double, that $1 million can double in the same system. So when we continue the consistency that we have now, you know, it's just around the corner. But to answer your question, that's an emphatic yes. And that's why I had to up my why and I had to up my game. You see it over my shoulder. Business is warfare, but $1 million a month is the goal. And so, you know, yeah, $1 million a month. And so, you know, without that, you know, answer that question. That's easy. That's gonna be easy money out of GS pocket.
Okay, well then too. That's the second question behind that is are you one of those billionaires that is gonna produce?
Oh, absolutely. That's hands down. You know, we ain't gonna stop until we make that happen.
We make that happen.
Yes, sir.
Man, well, all praise is due to Allah, brother. Thank you for tuning in, man. Thank you for coming and sharing this platform with us. We call you back, and you're gonna come back, brother, and visit us and drop some more jewels, some more science. I gotta get another bulk of questions for you, right? And family, like I said at the beginning, the people I interview, because this is how I want to get interviewed. People always try to interview me and prompt me. Don't prompt me. You know what I'm saying? And there's a reason behind that, which I explain later where I get that from. But he didn't know what I was going to ask him. We ain't even talked about it. We ain't even talked in a couple of days. We can text, but we haven't talked in a couple of days. So he didn't know nothing what I was going to ask him, right? Nobody knew it. Crypto Steve didn't know. David didn't know. Mr. Diaco ain't going to know what I'm going to ask him next week, right? So you stay tuned. Kevin is going to come back. Mr. Diaco going to be here next week. His mentor, my mentor, all mentor, the CEO, constantly empowering others, Crown Ambassador. Now he's the top of Wealth Builders Worldwide. He got it on his shoulder, but he got all of us with him. So, you know, he's there. So, Kevin, go ahead and let the people know your social media tags where they can follow you at, dear brother.
So my Instagram is Wouldn't You Like to Know? And I'm on Facebook as Kevin Thompson. You can find me there. I just want to, you know, leave with this last word as we get ready to close this down. To those individuals that might be hearing this information or might be tapped into this stream, you know, for the first, second, or third time, I would appeal to you to say, get back with the person that has shared this information with you right away and find out a little bit more deeper into the conversation of what we're talking about, because nothing that has been said today was said to impress you. It was all said to put you into a mind space to say, you know what, if they could do it, I could do it as well. And maybe I should be tapped into the conversation firsthand so that I don't get left on the caboose. See, I know where I was years ago when I had an opportunity to get into certain trains that were supposed to be coming down the road. And because I didn't know how to recognize an opportunity when it came by, those opportunities passed me by. Don't allow yourself to pass through and be one that thinks back and say, man, I remember when I was hearing those brothers talking about something similar, but I didn't capitalize on it. Take the time, because the time is right now, especially because we all are expiring. Use your day wisely. Use the information wisely. And if anything that we talked about today went over your head, ask questions when you don't understand. Please don't go back and ask somebody who's not involved. Ask questions when you don't understand. And I want to thank you, Brother Supreme, for allowing me to be a guest on your humble channel, man. Keep on doing the great work that you're doing, man. And let's continue to go rescue these families, man. Thank you, brother.
We just did it, man. I done just took a role from Brother Frank, man. I done employed, I done put I have three young brothers on the payroll now that I'm working with weekly, that I go out and do stuff with them and help keep them out of the street. They super young, 13 to 14. So man, I'm just taking that role because a lot of people think it's all warfare with me. It ain't even about the money. Well, of course it's about the money, but it ain't about the money. It's about the warfare. And like you say, not being about the money, because the more money that we do attain, the more we can do and affect a real reality change in our own community and throughout the world. So that's what it is with me. That's why I'm here. This is a system we in. Right, and I say it all the time. If GS Partners wasn't giving us crypto in the system, I probably wouldn't even be in the crypto. You know what I'm saying? But we get it systematically, mathematically, and then that's what my mind is on, because mathematics is what it is. So thank you, brother, for tuning in. We're gonna see everybody Monday morning with a brand new crypto morning. Next week, Crown Ambassador Mr. Michael Diaco. We're gonna grill him. he better be ready to have his boots strapped on because we're going to grill him on the Future Money Show, family. This is what we running interviews all summer, family. So with that being said, family, thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget, follow Kevin on his platform. Follow us, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not on New Millennium Bankers. Our Far Money, we are streaming on both platforms. Strive on either or, and we will see y'all on the next stream, family. But right now, we're out of here, family. But we're going to leave y'all with a little teaser. All right? We are out.
I am very proud on all of you who joined this. You can imagine 10-year anniversary. You can be proud to be a part of it because I am very proud as a chairman of the board.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have from now a world without boundaries. The lands are opening everywhere.